Well, I've been moved to tears a little bit here. A couple of these houses have pictures of what the house used to look like, what it looks like now. A little embroidered number plate and a little message of hope. But it's just heavy. And like I said, destruction all around. And just heavy. Okay, welcome back to the channel. We are currently en route to Jasper. Technically, we are already in Jasper. We're in Jasper National Park at the Peyto Lake, which is pretty sweet. I did have a thought that maybe I could canoe on Peyto Lake, but that is absolutely not going to happen because it is currently snowing. It is cold and very windy. It was so windy, in fact, that last night I stayed at the Lake Louise campsite, and there's a fair amount of trees that came down in the campsite. A couple trailers got hit. Luckily, I was fine. And the ones that did get hit that I saw were rentals. Anyways, what I got going, we're gonna head up all the way to Jasper. I do not know what I'm gonna do or what I'm gonna see, but we're gonna do and see some things. Before I head out and do those things, I'll make a quick breakfast and a chai latte. Neither of which were good, but at least the views were. I get especially low marks on the breakfast, which was trash. Again, at least the views were good. Once filled up and viewed out, I'm back on the road to Jasper. For those of you that don't know, in late July of 2024, a huge wildfire swept through the town of Jasper, Alberta. This fire forced the evacuation of the entire town, destroyed many homes, and did extensive damage in the national park as a whole. On top of that, it totally changed my summer plans. More on that in a minute. Okay, I'm at the Peyto Lake parking area, and we're gonna go look at Peyto Lake. I know there's a nice viewpoint up here. I believe the trail's relatively short, but a little steep. So I'm gonna get suited and booted, put on the rainproof coat and waterproof shoes, and we're gonna go see Peyto Lake. So let's go. As I hike towards Peyto Lake, still in Banff, I'll finish my story about how the Jasper fire affected me. So originally I had a 2-month-long summer road trip planned around some of the things I was going to do in Jasper. Hike the Skyline Trail, canoe Moline Lake, and glamping and authentic at Whistler's Campground. That all got canceled when the fire came. The highway was closed, and my entire planning went out the window. Obviously, I understand that I was not the most affected person. In fact, I still had it pretty good. Well, that was the Peyto Lake lookout, full of people, but I'm going to continue up the trail here, as you can see, because I know for a fact there's a better viewpoint, way less busy, so that's what we're going to check out now. I never did find that second viewpoint, which, you know what, absolutely makes sense for this trip. Instead of Jasper, I managed to cobble together a fly-by-the-seat-of-my-pants trip to Saskatchewan instead. Now as that trip winds down, I'm bringing it back full circle to where I was supposed to start. And I'm doing it while flying by the seat of my pants on a trail that leads somewhere I just don't know to where. Well, I've gotten to the end of the trail. This is actually not the viewpoint I was looking for. There is a nice viewpoint of Peyto Lake. That's not the main official viewpoint. I had lunch there last year. But anyways, you got a nice view of Peyto Lake, which I had breakfast at earlier. So that's pretty sweet, and I got a pretty wicked view. Well, that being said, it is cold, windy, so I'm gonna head down and get back to the van and continue on our route towards Jasper. Okay, I am back at the van, and we're about to drive. I just want to say I am very surprised at how many people are here. I know Peyto Lake is very popular with tourists, so maybe I shouldn't be surprised. But considering what has happened to Jasper, I did not think there's going to be that many people around. So, you know, that's kind of interesting. One more thing that I thought was interesting was my chai latte was still warm. Anyways, let's go drive. From the Peyto Lake parking lot, I'm some 190 kilometers to Jasper itself. But with its almost magnetic pull and a weird blend of morbid curiosity, anticipation, uncertainty, and a feeling of destiny, those kilometers just fell away behind me. The drive on the Icefields Parkway, especially with the fall colors setting in, is a truly spectacular drive, one that I highly recommend doing, although I absolutely could do without this weather. Okay, I just parked here at the Icefields Discovery Center or something, and I honestly have mostly stopped for a pee break. I'm about 100k outside of Jasper now, but I thought I'd show you the Columbia Icefields. That's a big thing what Jasper Park's known for. Anyways, the weather sucks. It's cold, snowy, and windy, so I do not really want to do anything there today. So I'm just going to continue my journey up to Jasper and go see the town, and yeah, that's pretty much it. But I thought I would show you the Columbia Icefields on my way to Jasper. Let's go. Now with that last stop out of the way, it won't be much longer until we start to see the first signs of the wildfire that swept through here. So as I'm driving up this road here, you can see there's an orange hose. At least I believe it is a hose. And I kind of assume that that's something to do with the fire. So that's the first signs of the fire situation that happened here in Jasper. So I will call that interesting. And I don't think we're gonna be that long until we're in the thick of the aftermath, if you want to call it that. Then pretty quickly after that, we start to see the real first signs of the fire. Okay, I'm now 37 kilometers outside of Jasper. And if you look to my left, regular trees. And if you look to my right, you can see the burn damage up on the hill. So that is the first that's the first real signs of fire. And that, like I said, 37k out of Jasper proper. Pretty wild, but it's only gonna get worse from here. So for the next 37 kilometers, I drove down a road surrounded by burned trees while thinking about the sheer scale of the fire that came through here. At the time of this drive, 2 months from the start of the fire, I really had no idea what to expect. Obviously, I'd seen some of the pictures from the town, and I'd read some of the reports about the damage. But other than that, this was all new to me. Some places were burned heavier than others, some places were still green, but others blackened. And for those 37 kilometers, I was never that far from another burned out section of forest. And the closer I got to town, the worse it seemed to get. The fire went all through there, and then coming up on this side will be Whistler's campsite, which is absolutely huge. I had like 700 sites, and I actually had tacos there from a taco truck, but it's probably totally destroyed. There you go. That's the campsite. That out there is the shower building. So at least some of the shower buildings are still standing. Oh, there we go. That was the first structure. Actually, the campsite itself over here doesn't look, I don't want to say that bad. The authentics are still standing, and the bathroom buildings are still standing. The information booth. But I did pass some sort of sign for some sort of bed and breakfast type thing. Looked totally destroyed. I wasn't paying attention, I was watching that, but there you go. That's the Whistler's Road. All burned.
Continue straight onto Connaught Drive.
Okay, we are just about to pull up into town. This is the final intersection. I believe this is the final intersection before town. I've seen a few structure fires. I've seen a couple places where the buildings used to be, and they're now just chimneys that were standing, and it's gonna get a whole lot worse. So yeah, I guess brace yourselves. So as I head into the Jasper town site, I'm greeted by 4 elk. Here's the replay because I know you didn't see them. Then I proceed to catch my first glimpse of damage in the town, and it's bad. But now I'm going to pull over and get up close and personal with what's left of Jasper. Okay, I just parked the van right there on the side of the road, and I'm going to go do a bit of a walking tour Again, I don't want any of this to come across wrong, but obviously people are curious as to what everything looks like. So we're gonna check it out. This is the petrol can. That was the first thing I had heard had burned down. Because originally when I heard the news that there was a fire in Jasper, I assumed that the town was not actually gonna burn. But then I saw pictures of this fire at this gas station. I seen pictures of it totally engulfed in flames, and I was like, oh dang, like this fire is actually gonna burn the town. So yeah, there it is. Pretty crazy. With that being said, like I said, I'm just gonna go do a big tour. You see there's houses still standing, but then there's big swaths in the town that have burned. So we're gonna walk around and just see what everything looks like.
Driven by heavy winds, the fire quickly came out from the south and Jasper took a direct hit. Most of the damage focused on the west side of town, where it was almost absolute. And as I walk through town, you can really feel the heaviness of the moment. It's one thing to see the pictures on the news, but having my feet on the ground here really connected me to their collective pain.
Well, I'm just walking up this street here, and it's burned on both sides. And again, I do not have good words to describe this, but you can see some of these little collection, a weight, bike rim, and it's like that was somebody's home, totally destroyed. They might have never even come back here to look at it. They just got the reports that it's burned, but it's just unbelievable. And you can imagine the fire coming up here, blown by the wind, taking over the town, burning all up through there. I'll probably add in the real numbers, but I think there's like 350 plus homes burned. And yeah, pretty sobering. There is a gap here in the fence, but it does say do not enter, and I feel like I want to show respect, so I'm not going to go in there, although I do kind of want to get in there and take some photos. But I think everyone's address is just written down on the sidewalk in front of their house. And again, just so sad. Somebody's whole life has been just turned into a number on the sidewalk and a pile of rubble. Somebody's front porch.
The 358 houses burned represents about a third of the town of Jasper. A truly devastating blow. One they'll take years to fully recover from. And it will change this place forever.
Well, I've been moved to tears a little bit here. A couple of these houses have pictures of what the house used to look like, what it looks like now. A little embroidered number plate and a little message of hope. But it's just heavy. And like I said, destruction all around. And just heavy.
Just when I thought I couldn't take it anymore, I saw some geese in the rubble that cheered me up. I then crossed over to the less damaged side of town, which felt totally normal. Well, almost totally normal. Except for all the businesses that were closed. There was nobody walking around or hanging out on the patios. It was nowhere near the bustling tourist hotspot that it usually is. But there was hope. Some inspirational artwork, signs of recovery, and even room for optimism. And there was even one restaurant in town open. One serving $4 tacos. There's no better way to end an emotional day than with some emotional eating. I went with chips and guac, chorizo tacos, then some chicken tinga ones for good measure. Hey, I did say I was emotionally eating. Anyways, after dinner I got back in the van to look for somewhere to camp. I can't tell you where I camped. Just know that you cannot camp overnight in a van in Jasper, and that the closest campsite was in Mount Robson Provincial Park.
Well, good morning. I am currently at Pyramid Lake. I'm about 5 kilometers north of town, and I thought it was important to show that not everything in Jasper has been damaged by fire. And then there are still beautiful, wild, untouched places. So with that being said, check out my view. This is an absolutely stunning little place. So what I'm currently doing is I got some farmer sausage on the go and some eggs, and I am making breakfast. But today is definitely gonna be my last day here. It is, my time here is winding down. There's snow in the forecast for tomorrow, and that's my cue to leave. And a friendly reminder that my time on this trip is very quickly winding down. So I think from here, after I make breakfast, which I'm gonna sit here and enjoy, I'm gonna go back to town. There may or may not be some trails open that I would like to explore. But if not, I think I'm gonna head back down the Icefields Parkway to Wapiti Falls. So yeah, I'm gonna enjoy some breakfast here at beautiful Pyramid Lake, then move on and see what happens.
After savoring that breakfast, I decided to head to Lake Annette. Edith and Annette Lakes are about 6 or 7 kilometers south of the Jasper town site, and they're a series of lakes in an absolutely beautiful area.
Well, I was just driving down the highway and I seen some big ol' elk. That is absolutely wild. That is a big, in my opinion, that is a big elk. Just crazy. That's awesome. It's great to see nature out here, you know, rebounding after the situation, and just a friendly reminder that nature always finds a way.
With that optimism aside, the closer I get to Annette Lake, the more clear it is that this isn't gonna look like the same lake that I frolicked in last year.
Okay, I just pulled up to the beautiful Annette Lake. You can see it there. But we're gonna go off onto this trail up here and kind of look at some of the fire damage. Again, it is pretty interesting seeing some of the infrastructure that managed to survive, but you can see all the damage up here in the forest. Information sign. Yeah. Lake Annette, that way. Lake Edith. You can really smell the burn here. But I will also note, burned out areas are dangerous. Trees can fall at any minute. I believe this trail is open. There's no obvious signs that it was closed, but just crazy. Another sign, barely hanging on. Now you can see all the damaged trees. They would have cut down to make this stuff safer, but dead tree pulled out by the roots. It's basically burnt trees as far as the eye can see. Obviously you can't see for miles and miles or anything like that because of the because there's trees, but burned everywhere. I believe that's a fire cracked rock. I do wonder if all these trees, or at least some of these trees, will kind of survive. Because if you look, they're all burned on the outside, but the inside doesn't look that bad. Obviously these ones have fallen. But I wonder if they like managed to survive, but with some damage. And if this actually won't be a totally dead forest forever. And to a certain degree it'll recover. I don't know, which maybe you hit me up in the comments if you do know. But it would be nice, I guess, obviously, if these trees are not all dead. They're just damaged and find a way to survive. But, you know, even these, they're not even fully burned on the outside. And I think, you know, like with everything, you know, even people, we all can take some damage and keep on living. So I just wonder if it's as bad as it looks. Obviously it's bad, but you know, I wonder if it will to a certain degree recover. But just unreal. Just a huge fire. Just crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Yeah, more fire-cracked rocks. That would have broken in the heat of the fire. It just would have been so crazy hot when this thing was just raging. Well, I just ducked into the forest here off the trail. But like you can see where a tree used to be, probably that tree, and the roots like burned up underground. And there's quite a few of these. It's just absolutely wild. And I do want to note the ground has like the weirdest feeling, because it's like, I don't even know what it is. It's like soil, but it's been burned. It's just very strange feeling underfoot. There's another one. It's just absolutely crazy. But anyways, like I said, the fire is burned pretty much as far as the eye can see around here. So that being said, I'm gonna get out of this burned forest, go back to the van, head back down the Icefields Parkway, because we are on our way out, and I would like to see Sunwapta Falls, and that feels like the perfect way to end this little trip. So let's go.
As I head off to make my final memory in Jasper a good one, I spend time reflecting on how I brought this trip full circle here in Jasper, and also on how quickly this trip is coming to its end. This run to Jasper was the last thing that I needed to do this trip. But with that being said, I'm still a long way from home, and you know I can't just drive straight back from here. So I will have at least a couple more adventures yet to come. But I think the best way to end this video is with a little motivational quote that I saw on a burned house in Jasper. "I can't see a way through," said the boy. "Can you see the next step? Yes? Just take that," said the horse.
Okay, we are at the Sunwapta Falls parking lot. It looks fairly busy, but nothing crazy. A sign here that says 0.1 kilometers. So I think it should be pretty close. I thought it was a bit more of a hike, but I think it's just a walk. Anyways, let's check it out. Well, there we go, that's Sunwapta Falls. Nice falls, under the bridge, over there. So I think that's a great way to end this video. Jasper National Park, Jasper Town Site, the good, the bad, the ugly. Peace.